Tonight, draining the bank.
It's a huge amount, and I was speechless.
Why a Winnipeg family is dealing with a shockingly steep water bill and the response from the city. Also tonight, back to school budgeting.
Not only are they seeing increases, we're having a hard time sourcing some products.
Which items you could end up paying more for as tariff costs take effect. Plus, ready to roll. How soon until you can once again cross the Louise Bridge?
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Imagining opening up your water bill to find out you owe the city of Winnipeg more than $21,000. That news has left a Winnipeg family spinning. And as CTV's Joseph Bernacki shows you, they're desperate for answers and solutions.
It was unbelievable.
Vanessa Pacquiao still can't believe how high her water bill is. $21,727.71. Pacquiao is a mother who lives with extended family here in Garden City.
On the bill, I usually get like from around 300 to 800 bill every 3 months.
Pacquiao admits she hasn't sent in a meter reading since February 2023. Family health emergencies took priority in her house, and she forgot to keep up with regular readings.
Unfortunately, 2024 started at a bad note for my family, so it was a complete kerfuffle for the whole year.
She expected a higher bill, but nothing like this.
Did I pay for the whole block?
According to her latest bill, a reading was done by the city in May 2025, but the actual water and sewer usage was far higher than estimates over the past 2 years, and that left a retroactive charge totaling more than $21,000.
This bill is just impossible.
Pacquiao reached out to the city for an explanation, and she says they told her she's on the hook, and now she doesn't know what she'll do.
You would think this money would have been for a family, but then it's just going to go on an unexplained, exorbitant amount of utility bill.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
We've reached out to the city for an explanation, but haven't yet heard back. In the meantime, Pacquiao is worried about how she's going to pay for the big bill. An unfortunate update to a story we brought you last night. Tonight, Mounties say it's believed a Norwegian hiker who disappeared last week in the remote north was swept away in a fast-moving river. Searchers believe Stefan Schotelvik may have tried to cross the Hayes River near York Factory. He earlier embarked on a multi-day excursion from Port Severn in Ontario. Police say Hayes River is almost 2 kilometers wide with an extremely fast current. Authorities have been in touch with his family and the Norwegian embassy in Ottawa. Officers and locals have been searching the area with drones, boats, and helicopters ever since he failed to arrive in York Factory on Friday, as expected. We're getting our first look tonight at the cost of Manitoba's worst wildfire season in 3 decades. The Manitoba government signed a $30 million contract with the Canadian Red Cross for evacuee support and other services. That's worth more than half of the province's total annual budget for emergency services. Another recently disclosed contract shows the province signed a deal with Canadians for just over $673,000. Finance Minister Adrian Salas says it's too early to estimate a total cost, but an update is expected next month when the province releases its quarterly fiscal update. Meanwhile, Manitoba has sent water bombers to fight wildfires in Nova Scotia, where the largest wildfire is estimated to be 32 square kilometers. On social media, Premier Wab Kinew says the planes departed Tuesday. They join a fleet of aircraft and fire crews from at least 4 provinces and territories sent east this week. A spokesperson for the province says 2 water bomber groups will remain in Manitoba, each consisting of 2 bombers and 1 bird dog. There is also 1 spare bomber in reserve. They add at the moment the majority of the local response is being handled with ground crews and helicopters. A fire has severely damaged a fixture of Winnipeg's Exchange District. This video was sent to us by a CTV News viewer. Fire crews were called to Johnny G's Pub and Restaurant on McDermott Avenue before 6 this morning. When they arrived, smoke and flames were coming from the building. Firefighters went inside and attacked the flames. No one was in the building at the time and no one was hurt. Johnny G's opened in 1987 and is a popular late-night dining spot. The cause of the fire is under investigation. There are no current damage estimates. Some important traffic information to share with you now. Some downtown streets are closing this weekend for the Canadian Elite Basketball League Championship celebration. Streets around Canada Life Centre are closing tomorrow morning. Hargrave, Carleton, and Edmonton streets will all be closed between Portage Avenue and St. Mary Avenue. One lane on these streets will remain open for parking access. Graham Avenue will also be closed between Edmonton and Donald. The streets will reopen again Monday at noon. Some good news if your commute takes you between the city's core and the Elmwood area. The city is reopening the Louise Bridge ahead of schedule. By Friday morning, traffic is expected to be flowing over the century-old bridge. It shut down initially in May after an inspection revealed corrosion which needed immediate attention. That closure was then extended into September. But the city says crews got the work done faster than expected. The bridge is still in need of some $40 million worth of rehabilitation work, which could start as early as next year. All right, watches, warnings, some serious weather in effect tonight. Colleen Brady tracking it all for us. What's the latest?
I'll start right here in Winnipeg, Marilee. A non-severe thunderstorm is just moving into Winnipeg right now, but judging by what's picking up on the radar, it looks like it's producing hail, and this may just be the beginning. We could well see thunderstorms through the overnight hours as well. Out to the southwest, though, is where we are keeping our eyes peeled right now because Environment Canada has issued a tornado watch for southeastern Saskatchewan and southwestern Manitoba. Specifically, all these communities within the Melita, Verdon, and Minnedosa regions. That does not mean there are any tornadoes occurring right now, but it does mean a very potent low-pressure system over Montana that's sending all kinds of heat and moisture could produce thunderstorms tonight that have the high potential to produce tornadoes in those areas. Further north, Dauphin and Swan River under a severe thunderstorm watch associated with this same low-pressure system. And that's not all, folks. Another round of rain, a significant rainfall heading across parts of northern Manitoba starting tomorrow morning. I'll show you how much is expected to fall there coming up. Let's take a look right now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now with a thunderstorm pushing through the city. It's 25 degrees. It's very humid. The winds have shifted significantly and they're gusting. The pressure's rising and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 64%.
Thanks, Colleen. It's just about time to start back to school shopping. And with the ongoing trade war, you may notice some higher prices on store shelves. CTV's Danton Unger has been looking into this for us and joins us now live. So, Danton, what sorts of supplies are being hardest hit?
Well, clothing and technology, Marilee. One expert says U.S. tariffs on places like China and Vietnam will mean higher prices for parents shopping for school supplies here. And even things like sketchbooks and art bags could come at a higher cost.
April Bell and her 3 kids are getting an early start on back-to-school shopping.
I'm going to get it done early, so I'm not trying to rush for favorite backpacks or whatnot, so get ahead of the rush, hopefully.
But this year, those school supplies could cost her a bit more, thanks to the ongoing trade war with the U.S. Artists Emporium owner Janine Johnson says this year, due to tariffs, many of her suppliers have upped their prices.
Not only are they seeing increases, we're having a hard time sourcing some products because many of the companies are refusing to deal with certain countries.
Take this sketchbook, for example. Johnson says it's costing her 25% more than it did last year.
We're trying to keep all the pricing we can at the old pricing and just keep the increases to a minimum.
John Graham with the Retail Council of Canada says many stores stocked up early on general supplies, things like pencils and scissors, to avoid tariff impacts. But parents shopping for other back-to-school items like clothing and technology could face higher prices.
We see and anticipate continued escalation of pricing out of China and Vietnam for clothing because of U.S. tariffs. And then the U.S. global tariff approach on technology-producing countries is also having that similar negative approach.
Graham says this just adds to the ongoing inflation and budget constraints facing families, and that's one of the reasons All Saints Anglican Church has been collecting school supplies.
Markers and crayons and pencils.
Father Rob Scheck says for the past 3 years, his congregation has been donating supplies to students at Mulvey School. It's a need he expects will grow.
As family budgets begin to become stretched further and further, the need will become greater and greater, not just for school supplies, but for food. And this is where community organizations and churches and groups like us have an opportunity to come alongside and help meet those needs.
For Belle, she says she's not too worried.
No, but it's definitely to keep something in mind, so always looking for a deal or a bargain.
Now, speaking of those bargains, John Graham says more Manitobans are focused on getting deals this year, as 91% anticipate spending more due to rising prices. And that's based on a survey the Retail Council of Canada did earlier this summer. Graham says this could mean more Manitobans avoid shopping at brick-and-mortar stores in an effort to stretch out their budgets.
All right, thanks for this, Danton. A man who tried to stab a Catholic pastor in the middle of a Sunday religious service last winter has been found not criminally responsible. Court heard Powell Olaunia had previously gone to hospital and said he planned to kill a priest. On February 9th, he unsuccessfully attempted to stab a pastor with a knife in an attack captured on camera. The pastor escaped, and Olaunia was arrested with the help of parishioners, including an off-duty police officer who was attending the service. Olaunia underwent a psychiatric assessment which found he suffered from delusions. The not criminally responsible ruling means he will either be released or sent to a psychiatric hospital unit following a hearing before the Criminal Code Review Board. A man was stabbed in what police call a random attack, and now they need your help finding the suspect. It happened Saturday night on Troy Avenue near Fife Street in the Menarski area. Police say a man in his 60s was walking on Troy when a group of teens started yelling at him and then confronted him. Police say the man was stabbed, pushed to the ground, and assaulted. The victim managed to call police. He was taken to hospital and is listed in stable condition. Police describe one of the suspects as a white man with facial hair. He was wearing a white hoodie and white pants. Police are asking anyone with information, including video surveillance, to contact the Major Crimes Unit or Crime Stoppers. The owner of a high-rise in Osborne Village is suing several companies over a fire 2 years ago, which caused extensive damage and forced some 200 people from their homes. In August 2023, the roof of the apartment building at 221 Stradbrook Avenue caught fire. In its statement of claim, East Village Holdings is laying the blame primarily on Rogers Communications, who says it was leasing space on the roof for some of its equipment. It alleges the cause of the fire was either a defective electrical cord or batteries used by Rogers or one of its contractors. Also named as defendants are a dozen of other companies East Village says acted negligently when supplying or using the equipment. It's seeking at least $25 million and other costs for damages. In an email statement to CTV News, a Rogers spokesperson says while the cause of the fire has not been determined, it is aware third-party contractors had been on site to start preparations for enhancing wireless coverage for residents and emergency responders within the community, as mutually agreed on by the landlord. They add they'll be filing a statement of defense in due course. It's been called a big win for Métis-owned businesses here in Manitoba. Ottawa will now recognize the Manitoba Métis Federation's business directory for federal contracts. Under a federal directive, 5% of all contracts must be awarded to Indigenous businesses. Today's announcement means the more than 850 Red River Métis businesses listed in the directory will be able to compete for those contracts.
So that opportunity is sitting there, and we're talking thousands of jobs in the future. Thousands upon thousands, businesses evolving into a much better financial situation and being able to take care of themselves.
MMF President David Chartrand says that could extend to construction, oil and gas, natural resources, or defense contracts in the province's north. Mosquitoes are not only a nuisance, they can spread disease like the dreaded West Nile virus. And some of the work to protect us from the pests is happening right here in Winnipeg.
What I'm interested in is finding different ways to control mosquitoes without the use of pesticides.
To do that, Professor Steve Wiard and his team at the University of Manitoba are researching two distinct methods. The first is growing sterile male mosquitoes in a lab and releasing them in order to disrupt mosquito breeding cycles. Wiard says that program is almost ready for field testing. The other is developing a new type of repellent.
What we know is that they have all of these little odorant receptors on their antennae, so their noses are their antennae, and they're smelling us that way. And what we would like to know is what odorants are they detecting from us, and how can we block that?
This season, populations are already quite low. The city's average daily trap count right now is sitting at about 1. Meanwhile, provincial data shows the highest concentration of mosquitoes testing positive for West Nile virus are in the Southern Health region. The total number of human cases this year remains at 1, and that was contacted by travel outside of the country. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Isaac Bogosh says most people who do get infected don't show symptoms.
The vast majority of people that get this infection actually have no symptoms. About 75% of people don't have any symptoms. The majority of people who have symptoms will feel a little crummy for a few days. Fever, headache, muscle aches and pains, fatigue, but it gets better on its own.
Today is World Mosquito Day, which commemorates the discovery in 1897 that female mosquitoes transmit malaria to humans. A Handi-transit van crashed this morning in St. Vital. Check this out. It happened at the intersection of Dakota Street and Ward Avenue. The van ended up badly damaged on the boulevard after colliding with a tree. A traffic light standard was also knocked over. City crews were on the scene repairing the damage. The van is operated by Blue Line Transit. We're learning more tonight about the tentative agreement at Air Canada.
They won't be able to afford the cost of living and living wage in Toronto and Vancouver.
The deal that put planes back in the skies and flight attendants back on the job may leave some feeling a bit deflated. That story when we return. Taking a look at the markets tonight, crude oil added 94 cents. The loonie closed mostly flat. Gold gained $29. The TSX is up 54 points. The Dow Jones gained 16 points, while the Nasdaq is down 142 points. The city has its eyes on 5 properties to develop supportive housing and is holding some in-person meetings so you can learn more and ask questions. They're located on Sherbourne Street, Plessis Road, Stella Avenue, Poisson Bay, and North McPhillip Street. All are located on city-owned sites. The city is responsible for deciding on the land, rezoning it, and then handing it over to nonprofit organizations who will develop and operate the sites. You're encouraged to visit one of 3 upcoming information sessions taking place during the first week of September to learn more about the projects. The dates and locations are up on your screen now. A public hearing is also scheduled for September 12th, where you can speak or submit written comments either in favor of or in opposition to the rezoning. We're learning more tonight about the tentative deal the union representing flight attendants reached with Air Canada, a deal which lays out a plan to bump up salaries and put an end to unpaid work. It's resulted in a ramping up of flights for the national carrier, but ongoing delays are still fueling frustration for passengers. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has more on what we know about the deal.
With Air Canada slowly getting its fleet off the ground, industry watchers say parts of the proposed deal will leave some flight attendants deflated.
They won't be able to afford the cost of living and living wage in Toronto and Vancouver.
Air Canada and CUPE have yet to confirm the wage increase being offered, but multiple aviation insiders, including McGill University's John Graddick, say they've seen the numbers.
12% increase immediately for the junior flight attendants, 8% for the more senior flight attendants, and then progressively through the contract, 3.5%, 3%, and then 2.5%.
Though the pay grade for cabin crew with less than 5 years of service will still fall short of what some U.S. carriers offer their staff who work out of major hubs.
If you happen to live in LA, if you happen to live in New York, or happen to live in Chicago, we're giving you an extra $2,000 a month. And that should get you up to a living wage in those cities where you have a high cost of living.
Air Canada flight attendants haven't been receiving an hourly wage while checking in passengers. CTV News has confirmed that the airline is now offering 50% of their hourly rate as ground pay for the first hour of pre-flight work on a narrow-body aircraft and 70 minutes for larger planes. The ground pay rate will increase to 70% by the time the deal expires in 4 years.
The flight attendants at Air Canada felt that this was a negotiating element of their contract that they could get a lot of Canadians to support.
Air Canada's offer of ground pay follows a similar move already made by Delta Airlines in the U.S. It could trigger similar demands by flight attendants at other Canadian carriers. WestJet's contract with its cabin crew expires at the end of the year.
A source tells CTV News that CUPE began presenting Air Canada's offer to their members this morning. Voting is expected to be completed by the end of next week. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Mississauga, Ontario.
The union representing postal workers presented its new offers to Canada Post today. Both sides are back in negotiations. The union's proposal is set to seek higher wages than what was offered in the company's last proposal in July. The workers rejected what Canada Post called its best and final offer. Canada Post has warned the Postal Service is losing millions of dollars in business daily because of fears of another postal strike. A Chinese duty of nearly 76% on Canadian canola went into effect last week. Ottawa has said it's considering measures to support farmers, but so far there's been nothing announced to date. And today, Canada's industry minister was asked why.
I think that this is not a choice between one or the other. The question is, we will be there to support our canola industry. We will be there to support our farmers. And I know that the Prime Minister and the Minister of Agriculture have been working together to address this issue.
China is the largest export market for Canadian canola seed. It represents 67% of total canola seed exports, totaling 5.9 million tons in 2024. That's worth about $4 billion. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre held his first media conference since winning a by-election that returns him to Parliament next month.
Our priorities for the fall session are to bring in stronger take-home pay that buys you more, safer streets with criminals behind bars, secure borders with immigration that is under control and lawful, and fourth and finally, a self-reliant Canada, a Canada where we produce our own goods, we export to markets around the world, no longer dependent on the Americans.
Poilievre won the Alberta riding of Battle River Crowfoot Monday night, securing his seat in the House of Commons. He will square off there for the first time against Mark Carney as Prime Minister. The fall sitting begins September 15th. After leading the Green Party through 5 federal elections, Elizabeth May says she will step down before the next election.
Ready for the idea that I will not be leading us into the next federal election, but I'm not going anywhere.
May made her announcement in an email sent to party members. The longtime representative of Saanich Gulf Islands is currently the only elected Green MP. She intends to stay on as MP and party leader until a leadership race takes place. Israel says it's taken the first steps of a planned operation to take over Gaza City. Its forces are now in control of the outskirts of the city, which the military describes as a Hamas stronghold. Israel's military is calling up to 60,000 reservists in preparation for the assault. The decision to seize Gaza City has received international criticism, with opponents saying it will likely force the displacement of many more Palestinians. There's also opposition to a settlement plan in the occupied West Bank, which was given final Israeli approval today. Critics say it will effectively cut the territory in two and prevent a direct route between the cities of Ramallah and Bethlehem. Rights groups say it could end the possibility of a Palestinian state in the future. People in Western Japan turned their gazes skyward last night when this happened. Check it out. A meteorite was spotted around 11 o'clock local time. People in 2 Western prefectures reported seeing the ball of light. They're caused by friction as a meteorite enters the atmosphere and slows down considerably. Almost all space debris breaks into minuscule pieces before striking the ground. The sharpest eyes and steadiest hands in the world are in our city for the World Youth Archery Championships. We're going to take you there when we return.
We won't see these high temperatures throughout the long-range forecast for Winnipeg, which may be a good thing, depending on your perspective. 20 degrees on Friday, increasing clouds into the afternoon. The weekend, highs of 18 degrees both Saturday and Sunday, both days under a mix of sun and cloud. A little brighter, a little warmer into next week. Sunshine Monday, a high of 22 degrees, up to 24 in the sun on Tuesday.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
The best young archers from around the world have their sights set on the target here in Winnipeg.
This is the biggest event on the World Archery calendar.
The qualification round at the World Archery Youth Championships is now underway at Grant Park Soccer Field. The event is a little smaller than originally planned, as some teams were unable to make it into Winnipeg due to the Air Canada strike. In all, 480 athletes from 54 countries are taking part in a number of events.
It is often a springboard for Olympic athletes and for compound athletes moving forward in their career.
The semifinals and medal rounds will move to the Forks this weekend. The event was condensed to 2.5 days due to the strike. Because of that, organizers are looking for more volunteers. You can sign up or purchase tickets through the Way C25 website.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady now back with more on the tornado watches and warnings in effect for our province. What's the latest?
The tornado watch remains in effect for southwestern Manitoba, or parts of. We still have a thunderstorm moving over Winnipeg right now, and you can see it spreading into the Springfield area. Again, this is non-severe at this point, but this could well just be round one. There's a good chance we could see more showers or thunderstorms pass over the city overnight tonight. But back out into the southwest, again, the communities within the greater Melita, Verdon, and Minnedosa regions under Environment Canada's tornado watch tonight. Areas further north, including Swan River and Dauphin, under a severe thunderstorm watch. All this related to the same low pressure system over Montana that is lobbing all kinds of moisture and heat northward into Manitoba tonight. Now, Environment Canada thinks that if we do see thunderstorms develop yet to this evening in the next few hours, that they do have the capacity to become severe with a high likelihood of everything, including tornadoes, particularly in those areas further south. But anytime you have a severe thunderstorm, there is the potential for a tornado to develop. Further north, if you recall, we had all that rain that came through northern Manitoba a few days ago. Lynn Lake received up to almost 85 millimeters. Well, another significant rainfall is about to hit that community, but not just Lynn Lake, Thompson as well, that region under a rainfall warning. These other areas further east, Gillam and Shamattawa there, out to the west, Flin Flon under a special weather statement, all related to a same low pressure system crossing these areas over the next couple of days. That could dump anywhere from another 50 to 70 millimeters of rain starting tomorrow morning right through to Friday night. So in the coming hours, again, we could well see thunderstorms develop across southern Manitoba. Again, we've got the southwest where there's the greatest likelihood at this point of severe weather. We could see tornadoes develop yet in the next few hours. That risk will diminish late this evening. Overnight, though, again, that's when we could start to see more thunderstorms develop over Winnipeg and southeastern Manitoba into at least early tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, that's when the first of that rain affecting northern regions starts to move in, and it will spread pretty quickly across the north. Meanwhile, again, we could likely see some thunderstorms develop tomorrow morning in a scattered fashion across southern Manitoba. As we get into the afternoon, there's still the possibility, at least early in the afternoon, of more showers or thunderstorms here in Winnipeg. You can see that pushes further off into northwestern Ontario later on in the day. Meanwhile, this rain will keep on falling over northern Manitoba right through into Friday night. For tonight, we have that thunderstorm passing through now. There's a good chance, as I mentioned, of more overnight, a warm overnight low of 19 degrees. Winds for the time being strong out of the south, 30 gusting to 50. Again, the likelihood is still high. It's not a certainty tomorrow morning that there will be showers or thunderstorms, but there's enough model agreement that it looks likely. Very warm, 21 degrees for the commute, still windy. And then as we get into the early part of the afternoon, that chance of showers and thunderstorms still quite possible. But then as we get later on into the afternoon, we'll start to see this clear out. High tomorrow of 26 degrees. Up into the northeast tonight, the most active weather is over Island Lake, down to 17 degrees there. Showers or thunderstorms possible. And then tomorrow, that line of rain will make its way through areas like Thompson, heavy rain. Gillam, you'll see that rain stretch to you. Also Island Lake as well. Thompson could well see 20 to 30 millimeters of rain during the day tomorrow, and then similar amounts tomorrow night. In the northwest we go, where again, Flin Flon, OCN, the Pas, Norway House, good chance you could see some showers or thunderstorms develop yet tonight. Overnight low 16, 17 degrees. And then that rain will start to come through your regions tomorrow morning. Lynn Lake already had so much last week, about to get significant rainfall tomorrow during the day and tomorrow night. Showers and thunderstorms have already moved through the southwest late this afternoon. There could be more where that came from yet again. A lot of those areas under that tornado watch, and then tomorrow you should see rain or thunderstorms. Good chance of it anyway, at least in the morning. In Winnipeg in the southeast tonight, a thunderstorm moving through the city now. Likely more to come overnight tonight. Very warm overnight lows in the upper teens. And again, a good chance we'll see more showers or thunderstorms tomorrow, especially in the morning. Partly cloudy tonight in northwestern Ontario, and warm too. Showers or thunderstorms likely headed your way as well, with highs in the mid to upper 20s. Our first weather photo is from Brad. Now this is a storm that passed through the area just north of Douglas. That's near Brandon. This was just after 4 o'clock this afternoon. Quite a wicked looking storm cloud there with that rain pouring out. Conversely, we have this lovely looking photo out in the Lundar region. That photo is from Casey. Send us your weather photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Most vehicles used to come with a full-size spare tire, but about 30 years ago, manufacturers moved to a smaller tire, sometimes called a donut spare. Now, depending on the car you drive, you may not have a spare at all. And that's also true if you're renting a car. CTV's Pat Foran explains.
You kind of have this assumption, or at least we have the assumption, that there would be a spare tire.
Lisa Glass and her partner Matt Barber of Toronto recently spent 10 days in Newfoundland. They rented a car in St. John's to drive to Trinity. But along the way, they noticed one of the rental car's tires was losing air pressure.
It kept going down, and then overnight, that night, it completely lost pressure, and we woke up the next morning and the tire was flat.
They called the company they rented the car from but couldn't get a response, so they decided to change the tire themselves.
He went out to the trunk and opened it up, and there was no spare.
Glass feels if a car doesn't have a spare, the driver should be made aware of it at the time of the rental.
The last thing anyone wants is to be stuck on the side of a road in a remote area with no cell phone service, with no spare.
CTV News reached out to Budget Car Rental but did not get a reply. However, it does say on their website the manufacturer may not have equipped your car with a spare tire. It may have an inflator and seal kit, which you can use to temporarily address a tire leak so you can return to the nearest rental location. You should check the vehicle before you leave with the car. Glass says while the rental car did have a sealant kit, it was not enough to repair the tire. Along with inflator kits, a car may also have a smaller size donut spare, and some luxury cars may have run-flat tires, which allow you to drive about 80 kilometers to get help. It's not just rental cars. You should check your own car, too.
In an effort from the manufacturers to lower production costs and reduce weight for fuel economy, they're just leaving the spare tire out.
Glass says with the help of Good Samaritans, the car was towed to a shop. The tire was patched and they were back on the road, but she wanted to warn others when renting a car, check if there's a spare.
I want people to know that when they rent a car, there's not necessarily a spare tire in the trunk.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
A hometown hero and one of the most decorated curlers in the country wants to share her story. After the break, I'll be chatting with Jennifer Jones about her upcoming memoir. She's one of the country's most decorated and beloved curlers, and we are especially proud to say she hails from right here in Winnipeg. Jennifer Jones is telling her life story in a new memoir out next week. Rockstar: My Life On and Off the Ice gives new insight into her remarkable rise to Olympic gold, and she joins us now to talk more about some of the stories she shares that I'm told may even surprise some of her biggest fans. Jennifer, so good to speak with you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
This release of this memoir, highly anticipated, especially in your hometown. And I know while your record of achievement is really unmatched, this book kind of delves into how it didn't necessarily come that easy. You open up about some of the tensions you had with teammates and opponents over the year. I'm curious which one of those stories stands out most of all these years later.
Oh, I don't know if there's one that really stands out, but it really is just my story, the stories behind what you saw on TV and what, you know, as a little girl, I was shy. I never really had these dreams of being an Olympic athlete. It was just more about doing what I love to do and finding a place where I fit in, and curling did so many things for me and how that evolution took place. So it talks about curling, but it's more the stories behind the curling. And I know people who've read it so far that I gave it to kind of get some feedback, they were very surprised to hear some of the stories. So I'm hoping people enjoy it and that it's a good read for everybody when they pick it up.
All right, one of those stories I understand is you share the inside story into what many consider the greatest shot in curling history. I mean, when I talk to people about this, they remember where they were and who they were with when they watched you pull this off. Without giving it all away, what don't we know about that shot?
I think just the feelings that I had, you know, it's interesting because there's a whole chapter actually dedicated to that shot, but just what we were thinking, what we were talking about, the feelings inside. And I know when I let it go, all I said to myself was, here goes nothing. And I think people are surprised to hear that. I didn't feel pressure. I didn't feel the magnitude of the moment. It was just try my best. And when I let it go, I thought we had made it. And it was just this watching it go down the ice and having my dad, who has since passed away, be there as our coach, and just the feelings of it and all culminating. And I really did feel like I let my team down that game, and then to come back and to have that way to win the game and kind of be there for my teammates, it was really the kickstart of our career.
You know, many credit you with altering how the game of curling is played, particularly women, for them. What do you think your legacy to the game of curling is?
Well, those words are some of the they almost make me emotional every time. I mean, I curled because I loved it, because it gave me a place where I felt like I was at home. And then to hear that you have like an impact, and we always wanted to push the limits of women's curling and never say that we couldn't do anything, and just see where we could take it. And I feel very grateful that we were a part of the evolution of the game, and we curled at a time when the women's game evolved so much. And I think it's just the equality that we see in the women's game, if that can be, you know, something that everybody remembers, but also the fact that we can play aggressive. It's an interesting game for fans to watch, and you look at the television numbers for men and women's curling, and they're pretty much on par, which is not heard of in very many sports.
You know, yeah, when you talk about playing aggressive, you were known for, you know, your big shots, your clutch moves coming through. Did you always have that in you? How did you get that skill?
I think honestly, and I say this in the book, is that when I was growing up, there was a lot more men's games on TV, so I watched a lot of the men's curling, and I love the strategy. I love the trying to manipulate and score points. I actually found it boring when there was no rocks in play, and I never played the game to win. I always played, I mean, I wanted to win, don't get me wrong, but I played the game to make it fun. And to me, rocks and play was fun, and so I didn't want to win any other way. Like if we were going to win, it was going to be with an aggressive style, and I think it really did help push women's curling to that next level, and we see such an aggressive style of play for most of the women's teams today.
What do you hope readers will take away from this book?
I think just an understanding of who I am behind the scenes, and just my love of the game, and just my desire to live every moment in life to the fullest. And I hope that everybody does. And my gratitude for every single one of the fans who had an impact on my life so much that they didn't even realize that they helped a shy girl feel like she belonged in a place, and gave me so much confidence that I never thought I would have. And, you know, here I am today as a motivational speaker, a television broadcaster, and all these things that when I was younger, I never thought would even be possible. And a lot of it's because of the fans who gave me the support and the confidence to achieve what I thought and hoped I could.
Well, your hometown fans will be very excited to know that you will be in Winnipeg next week to launch this book. Do you want to share a bit of what's planned?
Yeah, it's going to be at McNally Robinson, the book launch, the official launch, 7 o'clock on Monday, August 25th. Everybody is welcome. I will be there to sign books, so hopefully as many people can come out. I'd love to see everybody and thank you in person for all the support over the years. So again, 7 o'clock at McNally Robinson on Monday.
Well, we thank you for the many years of exciting curling to watch and can't wait to get our hands on the book. Rockstar: My Life on and Off the Ice goes on sale August 26th. Jennifer Jones, so good to speak with you.
Thank you so much.
Health Canada is warning parents about a baby lounger sold on Amazon that could pose serious risks. The FFQRLP brand baby lounger for newborns up to 24 months may cause strangulation, entrapment, or falls and does not meet Canada's safety regulations. Health Canada says parents are urged to stop using the lounger immediately and dispose of it safely so it cannot be used again. A record number of kids across Canada are turning to sport programs to help get them through the school day without getting hungry. Breakfast Club of Canada is the country's largest school food provider. The organization says at least 1 in 3 children in the country are arriving at school hungry almost every day. And nearly 2.5 million children live in a food insecure household, which represents 1/3 of the children in this country.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
A beloved children's tale comes to life at the Royal Winnipeg Ballet this fall. Plus, even more guests were just added to this year's Comic-Con lineup. Stay with us. All the details in Spotlight next.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Led Zepp again, the premier tribute.
A classic children's fairy tale is coming to life on stage in Winnipeg this fall. It's a ballet version of Hansel and Gretel. The Royal New Zealand Ballet is bringing an imaginative staging of the Brothers Grimm classic to Centennial Concert Hall. The performance features an original jazz-infused score and sensational costumes and lighting. It also includes a Wizard of Oz-style burst from black and white into dazzling color. Hansel and Gretel runs October 9th through 12th. For tickets, visit the Royal Winnipeg Ballet's website, rwb.org. Well, there are 2 August staples in Manitoba: fresh sweet corn and delicious apples, and they're handing them out for free in Morden this weekend. The Morden Corn and Apple Festival has become a summer tradition since 1967. It's one of Manitoba's largest street festivals with several hundred vendors and live entertainment on multiple stages. Enjoy free apple juice and, of course, cider and something else.
One of the more popular things is to stand in a really, really long line and wait for your free cob of corn, which I did for the first time only 2 years ago, believe it or not.
Up to 80,000 people are expected to visit Morden Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Visit cornandapple.com for more information. Comic-Con is adding a pair of TV heroines to this year's guest list lineup. Rose McGowan, who took on Ghostface in the original Scream movie and also caused chaos in Quentin Tarantino's Grindhouse, will be making an appearance. She'll be joined by Australian actress Eliza Taylor, perhaps best known for her starring role in the post-apocalyptic thriller The 100. They're joining a fast-growing list of stars you can expect to see at this year's event, which runs October 24th to 26th at RBC Convention Center. A Canadian country singer-songwriter is hitting the road in the new year with a stop here in Winnipeg. Jade Eagleson will bring his hits to Club Region Event Center on January 31st. The CCMA Award winner and Juno nominee has a series of #1s, including Tell You Ride, More Drinkin' Than Fishin', and She Don't Know. Tickets go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 with Master Chef, followed by Gordon Ramsay's Secret Service, and Battle of the Generations and Match Game wrap up the night at 10, all right here on CTV.
The most popular dog breeds in Canada have been released. Can you guess which breeds made the top 5? The answer straight ahead.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Tonight, the complicated path home for passengers.
Toronto to Lisbon, Lisbon to Porto, and Porto to Gatwick. So we've got quite a few connections to make.
What Air Canada is now offering up to compensate frustrated flyers. Later on CTV National News.
Well, looks like the thunderstorm over the city is moving out of the Winnipeg area now. 25 degrees, some pretty strong and gusty northwest winds. With the humidex, it feels like 32. There may be more thunderstorms yet tonight. First, quick look at the almanac. 28, the hot high today, but no match for that record set way back in 1886 tonight. Again, good chance of overnight showers or thunderstorms. 19, the warm low. We could well see showers or thunderstorms at least in the morning. 26 degrees. We'll see some clearing late in the day, and then much cooler temperatures. 20 on Friday, cloudier in the afternoon, 18 degrees Saturday and Sunday under a mix of sun and cloud, and then a little warmer next week.
Thanks, Colleen. Finally, for us tonight, the pet services site Rover is with this year's list of the most popular dog breeds in Canada. And for the first time ever, sorry, excuse me, I'm getting choked up here. These dogs got me excited.
Cute.
All right.
I can't blame you.
Mixed breeds, the #1 choice, once again, followed by the always popular Golden Retrievers, Labs, and Golden Doodles. German Shepherds round out the top 5 list. Oh my goodness, I need a drink here. You just enjoy these dogs on your screen.
Do you want me to keep going? The survey also finds nearly half of dog owners would choose the same breed again, and almost 7 out of 10 say loyalty is the most important trait in a dog.
And in a coworker who helps you out when you have a tickle in your throat.
We can, of
Thank you
course.
very much.
My pleasure.
All right, have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.